5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we have made it to episode 4. I want to start with the regular lineup. In production, as usual, we got beautiful Ali.
Hey.
Your host, Yasi, aka Frenchie. And today we got a treat for you guys. We got the talented James C. Mulligan.
All right, the talented and only slightly hungover.
Very talented. This guy can do it all. He is a traveler. He can paint. He can sing. He has his own art show at the Venetian, right?
We just had it this last week, which was like the first art show since all of this craziness happened.
How did that go?
It was great. It's the Animazing Gallery, and then it's at the Venetian in St. Mark's Square. Okay. And it's weird. Like, I mean, everybody was masked up and staying physically away from each other. But it was neat because you can tell people are literally just needing to get out of the house, so they were just walking around, and there's no big gatherings big parties. So
how many people were allowed inside the gallery?
I don't know what the limit. I think it's by square foot, which is what we should have done from the very beginning. Right, is re-rated square footage and allowed however many people per 6 feet.
Exactly.
But
that's what Sweden has done.
Make complete sense.
It worked for them.
I think they had 4 deaths yesterday. Not that that's anything that's
right. It's never
to celebrate, but having 4 deaths in a country of almost 11 million,
not bad.
That's really on the mend. So
it is not bad.
But it was cool, man. It was a good show, and people turned up and bought stuff.
People turned up. Were they like happy to just be out?
They absolutely were. Yeah,
right.
I did a live stream from the gallery and. Got people to come out and check it out and see it happening, see some of the magic firsthand. So that was cool. Man,
that is ridiculous. Like when me and Ali gets to go out, we actually feel like it's the first time we've been out in a long time because even the feel outside, it feels very different. It feels very weird. We live in weird times right now.
Yeah, we do.
And this year, we haven't had a break, man.
Yeah.
Since January.
I know.
Started with the Australian fires.
Yep.
Then we lost Kobe.
Yep.
And that was big here in LA, mostly here in LA.
Absolutely,
that
man.
was big. When you went out, people were sad.
What's really crazy is that if the news had been broadcast earlier about coronavirus, Kobe would probably still be with us because they wouldn't be going to the workout facility. That's a wild thing.
I saw the art piece you did about Kobe. That was actually really special, one of my favorite pieces. You've had a lot of great pieces. The one you did about Kobe was great, and you donated the proceedings to the
to the Kobe to Children's Hospital of Orange County, CHOC, and then to the Mamba Foundation, Kobe's school. So,
and you honored someone else. You honored a Captain David.
Oh, David Dorn, yeah. So with everything happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, and which is such an important thing to call attention to, but I didn't see any murals of this 77-year-old retired cop that had come out of retirement to help his community and to help his friends and to protect their property. And this man was a grandfather, a father, this sweet black man that came out to kind of take care of his community. Right. And he was like murdered in cold blood, and he bled out on the street on Facebook Live. Wow. And I didn't see anybody carrying his sign during any of the protests or marches. I didn't see any photos of him blown up. I didn't see any murals painted of him. And I wanted to honor that in whatever way I could. And I'm still trying to get the art to his family because I want to donate the piece of art to his family.
Man, that's a great thing to do. So who do you blame that on? Is it on the media that they're not doing enough?
I think a part of it is that, and I think that honestly, you know who I blame it on? I blame it on the wickedness of the human heart, man. Okay. I think that the hardest thing in the world is to do self-reflection and fix your own little sphere, right? So we all have these ways of wanting to change the world and telling people what they're doing wrong, and going outside of ourselves and fighting for justice and fighting to change country laws, and which is all important stuff. But I know that if you go into my bedroom right now at home, my bed is unmade.
Right.
And I think a huge part of that is people working on fixing their lives themselves and focusing on what can I do in my own little sphere to fix my life. What can I do to more live in a way that I'm doing the right thing, no matter how difficult it is, to improve my life little by little every day. And I think if a lot of people, myself included, God, would work on fixing their own little sphere and their own little box and writing their own little world, you're not going to be throwing bricks through windows, and cops are not going to be standing on people's necks, because the cops have worked so hard on fixing who they are as people to do the right thing and make sure that they're following the guidelines that have been given them, first of all, in a righteous way, and making sure that they're coming at it from the place of to serve and to protect. And that's what I mean. I know some wonderful cops, and I think the point of serving and protecting, a lot of it has been lost. And I remember seeing these photos in the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, these cops running around. They popped open the fire hydrant and they ran around with the neighborhood kids. Right. And you see these these days, you see these cops playing soccer with the kids. So I think a big part of where we're missing it and where we're going wrong is the police getting to really know the community. Okay. And instead of them going through and, you get Eric gets arrested for stealing a T-shirt, right? And then Eric is in the system, and then Eric, it's really hard for Eric to get a job. So then Eric realizes that he's got something on his record. Right. So then they're not going to want to hire Eric again. So then Eric gets in with a bad group of people, and it just gets to be this cyclical thing.
I couldn't agree more about that, because we are the country of second chances. We don't give second chances.
I know, man.
If you got a record, you can't get a job.
I know.
What happens when you can't get a job? You gotta still pay the bills. You gotta get food on the table. You gotta help family pay bills, whatever.
Yeah.
That means it's gonna bring you right back to the old bad habits.
Absolutely, man.
How is that giving these people?
Well, and you look at the neighborhoods that they're doing, and a huge part of the demographic of some of the neighborhoods, there's no fathers. So imagine if a cop meets Eric when Eric is 7 years old, right? Cop gives Eric some gum or whatever, gives him a baseball. He gets to know Eric as Eric is growing up, and then there's the neighborhood kids that the cop comes by, and those kids see the cop as a means to protect them and to follow the laws. Right. And as that presence is thought of as showing safety and a way to protect them and a way to kind of guide them as a friendly figure, I don't think that you're going to see the crime rates that you're going to see. But instead, cops are there. It's like the principal at school. You'd behave better with the principal at school that knew your name and asked you how grades were doing and would come by after lunch and drop a cookie off at your, versus the principal that you'd be afraid of running in the hallway because you know that he was going to give you detention every time. And you learn to hate that principle.
So it sounds like you're more for reforming the cops right now. Not defunding, not abolishing.
Well, I wrote something on Instagram. I said, refund the cops. You know, you see these cops playing soccer with these kids just recently.
Absolutely,
and it's that sense of community and what they used to be. Okay. And it's just, I think it's just this dragon is the tail is so long and so dangerous that it's hard to kind of shrink that dragon again. But I think we at least have to call attention to, okay, what are the issues here? Is it just there's a ton of bad people and the cops are under fire? No. Is it that the cops are just evil and want to step on people's necks? I don't believe that. Right. I think that we have just lost where we are as a society, and I think it starts with making our own bed, fixing our own little world, and I think that starts with the cops and the people in authority, and I think it also starts with each and every one of us.
Well, I feel like there is a lot more to it, because first of all, how can you get someone ready within 6 months of the academy?
It's insane.
It is
totally
crazy.
Agree.
Right, like that's the first thing that needs
to
be.
Does the hairdressers get more training?
Absolutely. Everybody gets more training. 6 months, you can't learn to do anything within 6 months. That is impossible. So that has to change ASAP.
Absolutely.
They need more training. They need a lot more psych tests. They need to know who this person is before they give him a badge, give him a baton, give him a gun, and throw him out in the taser and throw him on the streets, because a lot of these kids have gotten bullied in high school.
Yeah.
Now he comes out, he hits the gym a little bit, he gets a little bit of weight on his body, and now you give him a baton and a badge. It's like a lot of power all at once.
Absolutely, man.
He's not gonna.
And these are the kids that are like the hall monitors that want to have authority over someone, and so they decide to go. I know a kid very well that couldn't pass the police academy.
Right.
He just didn't have the temperament for it, and he worked, and then he became a security guard because he wanted to be a cop so badly, and he's the kind of kid that didn't have power over his own life. He didn't have any discipline over his own life. And so he wanted to make sure he had power over others. And there's something really twisted about the mentality of wanting to have power and tell someone else what. I don't want to tell anybody else what to do. I'm very libertarian in my I believe let people live how they want. I'm the last person to ever want to be a cop.
Vibe. I got a little bit.
Yes, I'm the last person to want to be a cop. But there were the cops that I know. I've done fundraisers for fallen cops and for fallen officers and their families.
Hey man, they go through a lot too.
Dude, the shit that they go through is insane.
Absolutely, it is insane. I've met a lot of cops. I've talked to a lot of cops. It is not easy being a cop.
They're overworked, overextended.
Very overworked. That they shouldn't be able to do all of that. Like, we should be able to split up the responsibilities to other people and give a lot less to cops to handle, because it is a very important job to do.
There's a lot of truth to the fact that they need to bolster outreach services and drug addiction services and homelessness services a little bit more, instead of people just automatically seeing something or anything going on and calling the cops first.
Well, and I'm a big proponent of legalizing drugs.
Right. So, and they should.
Like, the first thing, I mean, there's still people in prison for years for
having
weed.
A little bit of weed.
Well, we all know the war on drugs was politically motivated.
Of course.
So, absolutely.
Like most other things.
It is crazy how you can go to jail for such a long time for a little bit of weed, and guess what? And now we go back again. He comes out of prison, can't get a job, can't do nothing.
Well,
we're setting this kid up for failure again. These are the things that need to change right away. And if there was ever a time to come together, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, I don't care, this is the right time. We are going through the worst year in a very long time. We can't catch a break. A lot of people have lost their businesses. A lot of people have lost their homes, their families. They're going through enough. It's time to make it fair game for everyone.
Absolutely. No, I'm totally in agreement. And with 40 million jobs that were initially lost, and we're bringing them back, but
it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
I know.
It is very easy to demolish a building. It's not easy to rebuild that building and go, and do it all over again.
Absolutely.
It's not that
easy. And especially with somebody was talking about socialism, and all you guys that hate socialism, here's the government. You want the checks from the government. I said, well, the government put a wrecking ball through the front of my house. They need to fix it. So when the government destroys a business, violently and shuts it down and says, no, there's a virus out there, you can't operate your business, you can't feed your kids. People are pissed, man. And I really feel for.
And here's
the
thing: they have a reason why they're pissed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, shit needs to change.
Well, and like Governor Newsom, God rest him, bless him, excuse me. The declaration about, it was insane. I saw it on on the news screen. It was like saying everything that was okay and that what wasn't okay. And you have all these things: no gatherings, no fireworks, no picnics, no protests still okay, protests still allowed.
Well, he can't do really much about that.
Of course, but it was right there on the screen that he specifically said, hey, it's still okay to gather in 10,000 on the street, but make sure you don't get a picnic with your family.
I want to know what's your take on Newsom, because I get a lot of different.
You know what? I really liked him at first.
There's a lot of people who like him, and there's a lot of people who can't stand him. So.
I really liked him at first. I thought it was an injection of fresh blood. I know he's he's a business guy because he's got his winery, and I don't like the how he handled stuff in San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco went from being the Paris of the West to being an absolute cesspool. I'm sorry to say, and I love San Francisco. I've got gallery work in San Francisco. I love San Francisco, and I always have. I think that's why it hurts so bad when I'm walking on the streets and you can't step without walking over a human being or their waist.
It has become ridiculously expensive to live there. Yeah. My friend has a 1-bedroom apartment for close to $4,000 a month.
That's insane.
That is crazy. And that's without parking. And we know how parking is in San Fran.
I know somebody that's in tech there, and they make a lot of money.
Right.
And he's got a roommate.
Right, exactly. Oh, no. My buddy, I told you, he makes over $250,000 a year. Yeah. And he's still not living the great life of making $250,000.
The city's really bad. Well, so what Newsom did that I wasn't keen on was buying drug needles for the homeless, and buying drug needles for and there's a school of thought on that when it comes to making sure that everybody's protected and stuff like that. But if there's murder, you don't buy the people that are shooting bullets. So I think that we needed to operate very differently than that. And I really liked him, though. I thought he was, especially the way that he kind of came out, and he during the entire coronavirus thing, he seemed to be really caring and thoughtful about how businesses were going to be handled, and protecting people, but then it seemed to be about everybody seemed to be about out-safing each other. So it was, what can I do to further control people's behavior to make them safer without thinking about all the other things that are going to be really damaged by this, the drug overdoses, the suicides, the people that are losing. One of the things that really got me in the middle of all this was the people, the Karens out wanting to cut hair, and people were mocking them.
The lady from Texas, did you see that lady in Texas? She's like, I'm opening up. I don't care what happens.
And people wanting to have their businesses, and they were out protesting, everybody making fun of them. And for me, I was like, wait a second. There's 40 million people out of business, out of work. Mortgages are defaulting. People can't pay their rent. People can't pay their car payments because that stuff doesn't stop. Even if you can't get kicked out, all of a sudden you've got 3 months of rent. Okay, well, where are you getting $9,000 if you got $3,000 rent? Where are you getting $9,000 after 3 months if you have no job? So then you get kicked out of your place. So it really got me when, especially on social media.
You know what they did? They went and just give us a Band-Aid. They're like, okay, if you don't pay rent, you're not going to get evicted.
Just enough to shut up. Yeah.
But then what? 3 months later, I still have to pay the last 3 months
and your landlord has bills.
Yeah, exactly.
So
if you would have came out and be like, okay, we're going to work a deal. Don't give us stimulus checks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pay my rent. Pay my mortgage. Yeah. Come out with a plan where these landlords or whatever are going to get paid, and I don't have to worry about me 3 months from now. I'm going to come up with 3 months of rent or 3 months of mortgage.
Well, anybody in the gig economy, as you know, I mean, I'm an artist, so obviously I had 15 Comic-Cons cancel, and that's my large thing of what I do when I do Comic-Cons. I mean, that's my year,
right?
And thankfully, I'm in a position where I'm fine, but a lot of people aren't. And it's great that, the people that are getting jobs, this 9 to 5. Right. But then what about the people that are performers? My God, my friends that are actors that can't get back on a stage for the rest of the year, and there's no federal saving them. But if that's what you've done your entire life, it's like me saying, "Oh, you're a dentist? All right, well, go ahead and go program."
Right.
Whoa.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, man. So sense. I'm with you.
Going back to the police stuff.
Yeah.
Let's break down. I just want to see what you thought of the incident that happened in Atlanta with the Brooks gentleman.
Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah, Rayshard Brooks. So, do you think that was fair? Not fair? Whose fault do you think it was? Just tell me what you thought when you saw the video first time.
Well, when I first saw it, of course, I hear the headline.
Right.
Another black man shot.
Right.
After falling asleep in the drive-through line at Wendy's. That was a headline.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane, man. What are they doing? And I've been to Atlanta, and I see how there are parts of the town that are...
The Minneapolis stuff just happened maybe
God.
2 weeks prior.
It was super
to that.
fresh,
So
man.
we're like, we haven't even got over one thing. People are out and burning stuff.
Exhausting.
And you guys, right.
It was exhausting. So then I looked into the story a little more, and then I started researching about, and then I saw
the footage.
Right. And I'm like, well, the guy just had a taser. What's the... And then I saw more footage of the DA saying the week before that a taser was known as a deadly weapon. He said in Atlanta, in a press conference, he came out and he said, and as many of you know, a taser in this state is known as a deadly weapon.
Okay.
And he said that like in front of a room full of people, in front of press. And this is the DA.
All right.
So then I thought, well, no, wait a second. If the guy wrestled 2 cops to the ground, and they were being cool with him, like for half an hour.
Right.
Right.
In the beginning, they were okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they were, they didn't immediately try to drag him out of the car. I mean, they talked to him and they were chill. And so then he wrestled 2 big dudes to the ground.
Right.
Tried to grab for the guy's gun. Couldn't get the guy's gun, so they grabbed the taser. Started running, and he fired back at the cop. Now, do I think that it's at all fair that he lost his life over firing a taser?
Thank you.
Absolutely not.
That's what I'm at.
Absolutely not.
They gave him the death penalty for grabbing a taser.
Sure.
Let's say you would have arrested him after he took the taser away from you. You ran away, you caught up to him. He gets arrested. He goes to jail for what, 6 months to 2 years, maybe?
Now, I will say this. This is, and this, because I try to look at everything in the mix.
And I get it, right.
So, if I'm a cop, I look up this guy's driver's license, right? I know what his record is. I see that he's violent. He was in jail for beating the shit out of his kids. I mean, he literally beat his little kids so badly that they went to the hospital. He ended up going to jail for that. So he was only out of jail because of COVID. So they see that here's a guy who's capable of violence, knowing that the only reason that he was even in jail for that last time was because he beat the shit out of little children. So they know what he's capable of. They're still cool.
Right.
They talk to him. They know that he's, he doesn't start to freak out until he knows that he's going back to jail because he's out on parole for this, which he was out because of COVID. So then he runs, he tries to fight these cops, reaches for the guy's gun to shoot him, doesn't. So these cops know he's violent, and they've now got a violent criminal that has taken this taser, because it's all he could get his hand on. He fires it at the cops as he's running. They don't know where he's going to escape from. They just know that he's a violent criminal loose now. They've told him to stop. He wouldn't do it. Not only would he not stop, but he's now firing what the DA the week before qualified as a deadly weapon. I'm not defending the cop that shot him. I think that it was absolutely the wrong choice. But
so you do believe that the cop needs to be charged?
I think that the entire thing needs to be investigated to see what that cop's record is. Okay. To see if there's ever any...
for example, the cop in Minneapolis had a really bad record.
Well, that guy's just a piece of shit.
That guy's just a douchebag, plain and simple.
I don't even know about a douchebag, dude. I think that guy... I don't think that he saw... To put your weight on the back of another human being's neck and to clearly see that he's released himself.
It's way beyond ignorance, in a way. It's just not a movie.
It is not seeing them as human beings.
Right. Exactly. You don't.
That's the insanity of it. Do I think that they saw Rayshard Brooks as a human being? I do, because I thought that they were treating him as a human being on a level of respect where they were super cool with him, and they're like, hey man, we can't let you just drive home. You're clearly intoxicated.
But this is when the bullyism come to play, because I get it. You came in nice. You did your thing. You were very coherent and nice about it. You did an investigation. Okay, you're about to arrest this guy. Things went south. Yeah. This is where you being a cop, like your practice, your experience, need to come to play. You need to know how to handle yourself.
I think maybe that part of that is lack of training.
Definitely lack of training.
I would think, but I'm not a cop.
Right.
I have mixed feeling on the Rayshard Brooks thing.
Right.
Because they knew going into it that he was a violent guy.
Right.
And I think that had to play somewhat into why they were more on edge.
Okay.
Versus if a cop pulls me over and he sees that I've been to jail, he's going to know that I went to jail because I failed to appear for a cell phone ticket, and I was driving on a suspended license.
Right.
Because I've been to jail, so.
Okay.
But he's going to see that I've never beaten a kid, I've never hit a woman. Like, I don't have a violent back, so he's going to not be as on edge with me.
Right.
Because he knows that I've never stabbed anybody or shot anybody or hit anybody. So I think that has something to do with it.
So you're just taking everything in perspective. I get it, and you're trying to.
But do I think it was the wise and cogent and well thought out thing to do? Is okay, a guy's firing a taser, it's now my job to shoot? Absolutely not.
And I get that the DA came out and said the taser was a deadly weapon. But the cops tase people all the time.
I don't think it's a deadly weapon.
I don't think
I'm
it was
talking
either,
from a legal standpoint.
However
they're
they go
in big
about
trouble.
This, it was wrong because we see cops using tasers all the time. And it is ridiculous that they do that because they don't know the people that they're chasing if they have heart problems.
Yeah.
If they have any problem that shit could actually kill them.
Sure.
So
I do think there's an issue when they're outlawing chokeholds and stuff like that because a chokehold is the absolute last resort. So you don't shoot someone.
Well, that just became illegal, I believe. I think
the reason why chokeholds are in place, and I've talked to a friend of mine he was a former cop. He's a retired cop. The reason why they're in place is so you don't shoot somebody.
Right.
The only way to get that person under control is to free them of their facility to fight back. Okay. Because otherwise, the next step is to shoot them. You've tried everything else. The only way to get them out is a chokehold. Because they're fighting you, and they're clearly not listening, and they're not.
Which was not the case at all in Minneapolis. He was not fighting back.
That was not a chokehold. That was. I absolutely think that was not only murder. I think it was a form of torture.
Right.
I think there's inexcusable, and I think that cop should absolutely have the book thrown at him.
Which ended up in a murder by the end of the day. So
yeah, unquestionably,
that guy deserves hell. I really hope he gets hell.
Yeah, me too.
That's just
man.
my opinion. So let's switch up gear over here a little bit. Let's go to the COVID stuff. How do you think we handled it so far? I want you to tell me your view, government-wise and as people-wise as well, because I know we haven't been the best at handling it because we still go out, we still do things that we're not supposed to. And we see a lot of countries that, for example, Spain, Italy, France. I don't believe China, so I don't want to mention China just because I don't believe the numbers so much. And that's just
that, right?
Right, that's just my opinion. But a lot of countries in Europe are going back to the norm. They still can't go to like sporting events or whatever, but they can go out now.
Sure.
They can go to supermarkets, they can go shopping, they can do this, they can do that. Just when we started doing that, now they started shutting down Texas, Florida. Now my parents are actually visiting me, and they're going back to Chicago tomorrow. Okay. And they have to quarantine themselves for 14 days.
That's crazy.
And they said I don't know how they're going to like make sure that they're doing it, but if they're caught outside of the quarantine, they're going to charge them $100 to $500 a day.
That's nuts.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I
don't know how constitutional that is because we don't have. Nothing in our Bill of Rights talks about except in case of people getting sick.
Right.
So I don't know how the legality.
You had a nice Instagram yesterday at the beach enjoying 4th of July.
Oh, I was not going to comply.
We weren't complying either. We went to Long Beach.
I was not going to comply. When there's 10,000 people out on the street, I'm going to go walk on my empty beach a block from my house.
I agree with you.
So
absolutely. So what do you think? So do you think it was more on us, or do you think it was more on the government that can handle it?
The government handled it completely wrong. Right. I think that. Again, had we known early on and not been, if they had just let us know that there had been a massive virus released, that's the number one problem. And then all the shit rolls downhill, right? Trump didn't handle it correctly. I think that all the people in the government, but we didn't know. Not an excuse, but we didn't know what the hell this thing was.
Right. It was very new to everyone.
It was very new.
And when China didn't share enough information right away for us to get like a little heads up and be like, okay, we need to get started working on this right away. They didn't warn us, and it came last minute till we found out the hard way, and then we couldn't stop it.
Well, and I think that there were a lot of things that were done early on in the way that the media portrays a lot of stuff.
Right.
I mean, I heard, 11 people have died from this virus that they got from eating bats. And I mean, that's what it was at
that's
first.
How they sold it.
It was such a weird, novel, like freaky thing, and we're like, okay, that's not something to be worried about.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and looking at how it was affected, it's affected hospices and older folks. It's crazy. At first, with obviously New York is a complete outlier. Right. But at first, it really was like a nursing home problem. Right. And God bless these sweet people that have lost families and the older folks that have had issues and the people with any kind of comorbidity. You don't know how this thing's gonna hit.
Right, exactly.
I had it when I was in December. When I was back in December in Shanghai.
So you visited Shanghai. You had it in December.
Yeah, I didn't think that I did. Okay. Now there's also a chance I could have gotten it in January.
Right.
But I tested for antibodies and it came back negative at first in March.
Where did you test for it? Here or in China?
No. Here in Orange County.
And they tested you for a COVID test?
No, they tested me for antibodies.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because I knew that they were doing it over in Westminster. Right. It was like a drive-through thing.
Right.
It was a 4-hour bloody drive. I mean, a 4-hour wait. And it was a antigen serology test.
Right.
So they take a pinprick of blood, and they let you know in 15 minutes if you've got antibodies or not. That first one came back negative. Then I took a second one, and it came back that I tested positive for antibodies. Okay. And I was able to donate blood and stuff after that. But at first, I didn't think it was any big deal.
Right.
Like and then you look at like.
So when you got it, did you get all the bad symptoms?
The weird thing
high fever.
For me, I lost my sense of smell.
Okay.
And I just got it back after like 2.5 months.
Okay.
It was so weird. I didn't have to take a shower for months. I couldn't tell.
Got it.
But I lost my sense of smell, and it didn't cut down on my taste for sweets either, unfortunately.
Got it.
Like, COVID-19 is quite literal. Right?
That's for all of us, not only you. Trust me on that one.
But for me, it was I had a bit of a fever that lasted a couple days. I felt like my chest was tight, like I had a girdle on, something like a belt around my chest. I didn't really have a cough or anything like that. But the biggest thing for me that was obvious was my loss of sense of smell. Yeah. But after that, it wasn't bad for me.
Thankfully, didn't go through the no breathing.
No, I've got O positive blood, which the Red Cross.
Happy Kathy got O positive as well. There you go.
All right, we'll have to form a union. There you go. So the Red Cross is like I'm the most popular guy in the world.
Every time I get sick, she's like, "Hey, if you need blood, I got you. I'm O positive. If you need the kidney, I got you." She is literally the best friend anyone could ask
amazing.
For.
So how we handled it, I think it was. I think there was a lot of screw ups on every part because we didn't know what was going on. Right. I think it was a massive mistake for Trump to come out and say that this thing is a hoax.
Right.
That was damned foolish. Mm-hmm. I also think that we have to be careful now from a standpoint of what we listen to in the media,
right?
Because every single headline for months was how many deaths per day. This many deaths per day, this many deaths per day. And it was a very serious thing and very scary. My God, 50,000 deaths in one day, right? Well, then as soon as the deaths dropped off precipitously, then all of a sudden it was cases per day.
Right.
The entire narrative changed because it's really tough for people to click on something that goes from deaths to nothing.
And now we're talking 40 to 50,000 per day in our country alone. Like in the U.S.
But then they came out and they looked at the CDC came out, and I think it was either CDC or WHO. There's 20 million probable cases of COVID.
Because there's not I don't want to say there is not enough testing, but it's not like they're making
There's not enough testing.
Yeah.
It takes too long to get tests. There's no reason that you can't, there's a friend of mine and he's a big Disney engineer guy.
Right.
And he's talking about the ease of taking a swab, you pop it on the inside, and it either turns red or blue, like a pregnancy test,
right?
Or like the drug tests where they dip the papers in your
urine. Yeah. So to be able to swab the inside of your mouth and or a lollipop thing, and it either comes out red or blue, and it's darn near instant. Why are we not? Sorry, but why has the president not come out and declared, listen, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Bezos, everybody that's at the top of the top of the pyramid when it comes to business, the first person that comes up with this test, you're going to get a $4 billion order for these tests.
There you
go. I'm sorry, but everybody would be scrambling for that to get an instant test for this thing.
Absolutely.
And here's the other thing. You know what it would do? Before you go to watch a basketball game, you take a swab. If it's positive,
you get out.
You're not allowed in.
Go home.
If it's negative, you know that every single person in there is completely safe.
Absolutely.
You're not having to deal with a sweaty, awful, dirty mask that barely, you're looking around. You know that nobody's going to infect you. You're not going to infect anybody else. You can cheer and scream and spit because you know everybody in that stadium is negative. So that's crazy to me that we don't have an instant test, or even if it's my serology test was 15 minutes.
Right.
But I think it was maybe a false reading. I don't know.
Do you want to know why he doesn't want to do all these testing and just, do it the way you said? It's because it's going to show a lot more people affected, and that scares the bejesus out of him. He's coming out to elections in a couple of months, and it's all about the elections. See, it's a bad timing as well.
I think if I were him, if I were the president, I would basically come out and say, we've got 20 million cases, and we have so many cases.
You got to do the mouth chew. You do the mouth chew.
We got so many cases and 20 million. And if he were to come out and say, it looks like there's 10% of the American public is affected by this. We're really trying to find everybody.
Right.
So we're doing a great job. We're finding those cases. We're finding that as we do these screenings, we're finding a lot more cases. So we're able to isolate people, and we're on our way out of this thing. So as we're finding more cases, we're getting closer to that number that's infected, and instead of being so fearful of this thing. And here's the other thing: we got 0.2% fatality rate, according to the CDC, which is for the people that have lost people, that's still a massive deal, But 0.2% fatality rate, and we've dropped precipitously, a 90% drop since our peak in these deaths.
You know what we really wanted out of our president? I don't want to go too much into him. We wanted him to just be human. We would have not cared about what you've been doing the last 3 years, but this was the time to either make you or break you.
Yeah.
If you would have came out and just been human and just understood the situation, put yourself in other people's shoes, dude, I would have been voting for you.
I think that the ego is a real issue.
I'm just saying, it's the ego. It's all about the ego.
Well, one main trait of narcissism is lacking insight.
And I don't want to go too deep into this, but I still can't believe that going into these elections, I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an immigrant that came to this country. Exactly. I'm an immigrant. So I get to vote, yes, but I can't believe that these are the two choices we have.
I know, man.
It is ridiculous.
I know.
We have a guy who should be retired, being just I'm not saying, hey, Joe Biden was great at a certain point of his life.
Yeah.
But it's time for him to hang his shoes up and go and
I miss
enjoy the swimming pool
we
and
need
the beach.
We need like a Kennedy and
something.
I really I there were a lot of things I disagreed with him at, but I think in general that Mitt Romney has a decency about him, and I was surprised that he didn't run after all that.
I agree.
So I think there's a lot of I like Kennedy, the new Kennedy that's coming out. He's a little anti-vax for me.
See, the Kennedys it's either a hit or miss with them too. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of craziness. A lot of history about the Kennedys. So, man.
But as far as that kind of spirit, it's like, really? Even the last election.
Who did you like out of the Democrats that were going for it? Out of that big panel?
Dude, people are going to crucify me for this.
Go for it.
I liked Tulsi Gabbard. We have a woman.
Okay.
She's a woman of color.
Okay.
She's a veteran. She is. I mean, all the stuff that she said when she was about gay people.
Right.
When she was younger and all this stuff and not wanting gay marriage.
Right.
Stupid stuff to say. The foolishness of youth. Of course, Obama said that he thought that marriage should only be between a man and a woman when he first started running. So, and Hillary said the same thing. She was anti-gay marriage. So, that was the politically expedient thing at the time. So I'm not defending anything about Tulsi Gabbard.
No, I do want to go into that a little more, but I'm going to let you finish your thought, and I want to go into something else. But go ahead.
I thought that the way that she was handled as a woman of color that was a veteran, and her entire thing with being buddy with areas of the Middle East, I think that was a question that needed to be investigated deeper rather than the knee jerk of what it turned into. But everything is everything in politics is perception. But I liked Tulsi Gabbard, man. I thought that
nothing
she would have
wrong
been,
with that. I think she would have been really a better candidate than Joe or the guy we have already in office. So, hey, man, I would have taken her as well at this point. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, because the two choices that we have are not really much of choices.
I still like Tulsi Gabbard.
But please, people, come out and vote. This is every year
100
we keep hearing
million votes, man.
Please come out and vote. We keep hearing every time that this is the most important election ever.
Yeah,
dude, this is the most important election ever.
I agree, man.
Let's stay on that topic of what they've done in the past and whatever. Do you think we're becoming too sensitive? In many sorts, like
becoming?
Yeah. Well, no, we are.
I think we've been way too sensitive for too long. Yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has become a big problem. I like to come out and say whatever I think whenever I feel like.
Yeah.
Why should I pay for the way I feel just because you don't agree with it? Yeah. I'm not trying to push my beliefs on anyone.
Sure. Well, and I think that there's a big deal these days,
right.
This whole cancel culture thing,
right? And the Me Too movement and everything came all at once.
Dave Chappelle was the entire idea of, like, I've got friends, a lot of friends, very diverse. Like, I'm an art and theater guy. Like, I can't get more diverse than that. And I've had people that I've been friends with. I respect them. We've had drinks together. We're super friendly and super chill. And because I state something that's a scientific fact, like about whether it's COVID or whatever, and I state something that's statistically and I say, actually, I believe this because it's been proven that X, and that's why I believe it. I don't have any emotional attachment to it, but I'm just and I have been absolutely trounced by these people that I've been friends with, and then it goes into name calling, and then it goes into feels so good to block somebody, and I'm like, whoa, I don't think I've unfriended somebody because of their political beliefs or their political leanings on something. I don't think maybe once or twice if somebody got really nasty, but I want people that think differently.
Okay.
I want people that think differently than me. I'm the last person to say, I hate your guts, you stupid idiot, because you disagree with me on something. So I think it is... I think it's nuts that people will try to find anything they can. But you know what, though? It's like the people that are going out and they're throwing bricks through windows of these minority businesses. It's fixing and making our own bed, isn't it?
Right.
Because if I'm looking at you and your problems and I'm telling you how wrong you are and how I'm going to cancel you, I don't have to look at myself.
Right.
I don't have to look at my own hypocrisy.
That's when the double standards come to play big time.
Yeah, man.
We were just talking last couple episodes ago. We talked about Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz doing a podcast from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where we know Joey Diaz. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, of course.
He's a very fun guy. He has a criminal past.
Listen, Joe Rogan.
Exactly. He's very open about his past. He's like, I've done my time. I paid my dues. That's it. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
They want to cancel him, and they've been trying to Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Why? Because he said a comment about getting...
He was talking about how the Comedy Store was in the 90s.
Right.
Which was...
Getting BJs.
I mean, come on.
Who cares?
Backstage.
You know what I mean? It happened so long ago. And it
doesn't matter, man, if it happens now.
Right.
We're not talking about him raping women.
Right.
We're talking about willful
and
choice.
That's exactly what I said in that episode. It's not like he raped them.
That's
if
what
he
he
raped
said
them,
too.
That's completely different. I'm with you guys, absolutely.
Yeah.
He wasn't raping anyone. These girls got down on their knees and did their thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Point
it wasn't just
simple.
girls, too.
Whatever. Who cares?
Well,
exactly.
He touched on the fact that there were some producers who swung both ways. So when they would show up, the male comics, so
there you go.
I've seen
everybody's
it.
getting a little something.
I've seen it, and you can't. It seems to be with one gender more than another, but you can't say that the thing that attracts you also coerces you.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. It's impossible. That's like me saying that. Oh, she was wearing a schoolgirl skirt, so I was coerced. No.
Yeah, it's the same argument.
With Matt Lauer, right?
Right.
The woman that he was having an affair with, and I want to be careful what I say. I only want to say what I know for sure.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
But the woman that he was having an affair with, like, was banging him in the bathroom at the Democratic National Convention. She knew he was married. But then don't say, oh, his power and fame coerced me. He coerced me with his power and his fame. Girl, you were sleeping with him because he was famous and he was rich.
Right.
And I've seen it. I've seen it myself multiple times. Again, working
at
around
the
Playboy
Radio. Which,
by
the way, we're gonna have extra footage on James's
Patreon.
We'll put it on my Patreon.
So we're gonna do an extra footage talking about the good stories,
some fun Playboy.
Right? Some fun stories. So it will be on his page. We will post it down in the description. Please look for that. But go ahead.
Thanks. Sorry. But seeing that, there's we were talking about this last night, right? And I think that there's a lot of women. Right. First thing that attracts them is security and safety. That's the first thing. Right. It's they're biologically. I mean, when you're cavemen, and the first thing that you do is you go out and you fight to get that saber-toothed tiger and kill it and bring it back to the cave and feed your family. Right. Well, the woman was there. The female. The mom was there to make sure that she was safe and secure and kept the kids safe and secure. Right. So we haven't changed that much. Right, no. So I think that safety and security is the number one thing that is very attractive.
That matters the most, absolutely.
I think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
And I
till today, I know that women are much, they have a bigger voice than they ever did. There's a lot of things that still need to change. And we were just talking about a couple of episodes ago, like, for example, the women's soccer team and the men's soccer team, and how one gets a lot more views and a lot more trophies and get paid a lot less than the men's. That is super, not whatever. But either way, the women have a lot more than what they did before, and they should keep going down that route. But it doesn't change that they still like a guy with a little bit of security.
The difference now is the choice.
With a job.
Yeah.
It's just sexier than having a guy who doesn't do nothing, gets off, smoke his weed, drinks all day long. That's just not sexy anymore.
Well, and like maybe Kathy can attest to this, to her pre-friendship.
Right, there you go.
That a girl is going to want to sleep with a guy with a brand new Porsche over a guy in a 92 Corolla.
I agree.
And he could be the smartest, kindest, best looking guy. Right. But there's something, I don't know if you've seen those YouTube videos where the guy's like, he pulls up in his kind of shitty Corolla.
Right.
And he asks these hot chicks if they want to go for, and they like laugh.
And he comes back in a Lamborghini or
Same
whatever.
Dude.
Right, yeah.
In a Lamborghini, and they are willing to jump in that car with him.
Everybody has seen those, yes.
And there's something that's come out, lately. I think it's like the most honest thing, which is like Seeking Arrangement and these other websites.
Oh my gosh.
That have this like. Basically, it's the agreement that men and women often have without saying it. And
that's
this one, you just have to pay for the site.
We're gonna say it. We are a podcast that talks about it all. So he's talking about a sugar daddy,
I wasn't meaning to plug.
No, that's completely okay. So
it's used for multiple
unless they want to sponsor
things.
you,
not just like sugar daddy, sugar baby.
So it's the new age prostitution.
A lot of married people.
So a lot of girls comes into the site young or whatever, and they get allowances from these rich dudes where they pay them weekly or monthly or whatever it is, and they become their girlfriends on the site. So it's very interesting. Actually, that blew up in the last couple of years.
Well, it really blew up during COVID. Even like I've watched TikTok and all that stuff. So there's women like who are like, I just do feet pictures. Like I have an Instagram where I take pictures of my feet.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those chicks that have no clue if they have cute feet or not.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
True.
There's a lot of girls with ugly feet out there. So
well, there's that. There's the women who like eBay their underwear. They wear it for a week. They'll take like requests, and the guy will be like, I want you to wear it for 2 weeks, and then send it to me.
They get paid for that.
Yeah, they get paid for it.
What are we talking like?
Warren. Underwear.
No, we're talking like a couple hundreds, couple thousands.
I don't know how much. I didn't go that deep into it. I'm not trying to
He's been wearing them for a week already.
That's
so trying to see how much
no problem.
I'm not trying to start an enterprise here. I was just curious. But like, there's that, what's that one? Oh God, I can't think of the fetishy name for it. But there's this one where these super rich guys just want women who will degrade them about their money and like move their money around.
What's that called?
And,
I know exactly what
you know what I'm talking about,
this
right? Oh, I can't think of the name. Let me see if I can find it.
Pay pigs?
Yeah, that's what the girls call them. But I forget what they call the girls.
It's a degrading.
I know about the
I know.
seeking
It's called
arrangements.
financial
This is all new
dominance.
to me.
Findom.
Findom.
Financial
Never
dominance.
heard of it before.
Yeah.
This is blowing up too?
like,
Oh yeah, it's blowing up too. I mean,
sounds just
but
like
I
several-
feel like the niche has passed a little bit.
Right.
I mean, like if you probably
People are getting tired of the Tinder and Bumble. Let's be very clear. That's getting
That's
little
becoming
outdated.
basic
Yeah,
now?
it's becoming basic.
Yeah.
So now they need like some new.
Any man who's ever been divorced has been findomed, though. So I can, in general, I shouldn't say every.
No, I think you're right about that
Trust me.
statement. I agree with that statement. I support that statement.
You know, that's
Yes.
talk about
Takes
like
two.
equality.
Yeah, man.
That's a crazy
Right.
thing, man. When
Right.
it comes to divorce, especially in California.
Oh, yeah.
It's I got a friend, man. Good guy. Like he's got his family business,
Right.
works his tail off.
Right.
And like he's still paying
Child
his
support.
ex-wife. Not forget about child support. I'm all in favor. of.
Alimony.
And for the rest of her life until she gets married.
That
If
is
she gets married
ridiculous.
again.
They've been
yeah.
I think they were married for 8 years.
Yeah.
He's been paying her for 14 years and will pay her until she gets married. And
The
she
system needs
she
to
won't get
change.
married again.
she
Big
won't
time.
and she's
not
like
going
living
to.
with some dude.
She won't.
Yeah. As long as they're not married, he
She's
still has to
fine.
give her out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm kind of the opposite because
Right.
I do my best to make sure that my kids are, I'm a divorced single dad.
Right.
I make sure my kids are very well provided for. And I'm like, anything my kids need, I make sure that they're
Right.
taken
Well
care of.
Right.
Even that clock don't stop in the middle of COVID. So
Right.
I just,
Yeah.
I just have to work a lot more. But that's a really crazy thing. And I think there's a thing about powerful men that they like kind of being taken down a notch.
Well, because
maybe,
they're
I don't
probably
know.
used to most people in their life telling them yes, so they want
Yes,
somebody
man,
to
yeah.
tell them no,
Yeah.
and it just gets them off, you know.
Yeah.
To each his own.
All right, let's go more into you, my friend.
All
So
right,
I
uh-oh.
saw your music at the award that was back in 2016. You guys shot it in La
Oh yeah,
Mirada?
La Mirada, yeah.
You guys did at La Mirada.
That was a cool thing for La Mirada Symphony.
Yes,
Um,
and you had a nice piece
you're
over there, and you
kind,
had a nice duet with this beautiful girl over there.
and it was Carly.
You guys were killing it.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
You guys, how did that come
Well,
about?
so my background's musical theater,
Right.
And so I got into theater for the girls, I think,
Right,
and
okay.
then I realized I kind of loved it. So
exactly.
yeah,
And you got the personality for it.
Oh,
you got
thanks, man. So
you got the.
I did
vibes
like
for it.
Miss Saigon. I say I did Miss Saigon a 6-pack ago.
Let's just blame it on the COVID. Let's just
Oh yeah,
stick
right.
to that
The last 10 years of COVID.
COVID hit us a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. But it was that was my background, and then I got into doing set design for theater. I kind of love creating those worlds. I miss doing set design. I haven't done it for a long time. And then I went into doing development stuff, and then fine art. And
So now you're more into your paintings more than
I do,
the music.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I'm really into doing gallery
And dude, you
gallery
have some
stuff.
nice pieces in there.
Thanks, man.
I saw your Instagram, which I advise everybody to go sign up for. I saw
Mulligan
your,
Jimmy, by the way.
Right. I will actually have all his
I
links
know, I'm gonna
on
force
the
him to plug me the
description.
whole time.
No, for sure, yeah. I'm going to have all his links, his Patreon, his Twitter, his YouTube just started. Please follow his YouTube. He has some great videos. Dude, you did the Indiana Jones piece.
That was fun, right?
amazing.
I love painting
You
indie
did
because
the
he's
Tony
like...
Stark. You have some Disney characters.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I love
For Star
painting
Wars fans,
man.
like-
And I'm actually on deadline for Marvel right now.
Are you?
For a project.
How was the experience working with Disney? Is it hard?
You know what? It just depends, man. And there's so many different branches of it. It's weird with COVID happening
Right.
because like communication is people are working from home
Right.
and I'm working with some merchandise stuff.
But I heard they have some weird rules.
There's a lot of weird rules. Yeah, but it's just like anything else. Like with with you can't paint a character really with a gun.
I get it
these days. Jack Sparrow's got a gun. That's what you can't paint Captain Hook with a sword. But obviously he's got a hook, so that's a weapon. So it's just. So
you're enjoying the ride with them overall.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And, it's fun, man. And this Marvel project that I'm working on right now, I'm actually working on a project with Upper Deck.
Nice.
So you'll see my stuff on store shelves very soon. I'm working on some more merchandise, Disney merchandise stuff.
All you gotta do is subscribe, people, and then
That's right.
Stay in touch with Mr. James over here.
That's right. I'll argue politics with you too.
There you go. He'll do it all. Let's talk about the traveling. Dude,
yeah.
I traveled all over the world too. And I always get the same question. What is your favorite place in the world?
I do too, man.
And I always answer it by the same way. I can't give you one place because it just depends.
As soon as you say the place, you've got another one that you think of that you like as much. Yeah.
It just depends. Yeah. I'll give my top 3. I always put Vienna on top of that list.
I've never been to Vienna.
Dude, you gotta go.
I know.
And mostly you're in
I wanted to go to Austria this year. But
it feels like you're walking around a painting the whole time. The streets are super clean. It feels like the whole city is just like a whole museum, just like a painting, and you're in it. And you're part of it.
Have you been to Salzburg?
No.
See, I want to go to Salzburg. My grandfather died in Salzburg.
Okay.
He was he always wanted to play violin, and he actually went out there to play violin and go to the Salzburg Festival and everything.
Right.
And he passed away there. My grandmother got the call here in the States that he had died Wednesday morning, and it was like a Tuesday night here. So she, took an overnight flight.
Right.
But it was
about that,
it was before I was born. So. Okay. I'm getting over it. But it was that's one of those things from just watching Sound of Music as a kid. I don't know if you watched Sound of Music when you were a kid.
I did actually.
Falling in love with Julie Andrews, even with the short haircut.
Yeah. Not when I was a kid. I watched it after I was a kid. I was like a teenager.
I love him. It's one of my favorite films.
I know what you mean.
But that whole region, man. I've never been to Austria. I've been to Germany a bunch of times.
I've been to Germany a bunch of times as well.
You've been to Frankfurt?
Yes.
Frankfurt am Main?
I've been to Dusseldorf. I've been to Frankfurt. I've been to Berlin. I've been to, I think that's it about Germany. Yeah, Frankfurt, Dusseldorf, Berlin.
I love Berlin, man.
Yeah, Berlin was fun.
Great.
Dusseldorf was fun because I got to go during the sausage fest they had every year. And dude, that city is all about beer and sausage.
It's a sausage fest in West Hollywood, like all the year round. If you want to go there.
It's a different sausage fest, but I'm talking about real. Yeah. But they are
get some brats.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I don't like pork, but I tried it over there. It was amazing.
Did you go to Oktoberfest here at Old World? Dude.
Did we go together? I think I went with Happy Cat. I'm not sure, but I know I went to it the first year I've been here. It was actually fun.
So fun, man. The dancing.
Right. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Have you ever been to, what is the big one they do here in California? Coachella.
I've never been to Coachella, man. I don't have the right shorts or the beads.
See, me neither. I have not done Coachella.
I feel like I passed that time in my life.
We've
maybe
done
10 years
Lollapalooza in Chicago. We have not done Coachella.
I want to go to Burning Man really bad.
Dude, I do too. I wanted to go this year.
I wouldn't mind going to Burning Man.
In the middle of the desert, really?
I wouldn't.
You'd do it for me?
I'd do it for you. Yeah.
So sweet.
I'd go
I want to go because apparently...
He's not a camping person, but he'll do it for me.
The art, as I hit the mic, the art is incredible.
And everybody's like... almost naked.
And for something like that for you,
it's super hot.
You get so many ideas.
I got I got a bunch of friends ago. I have this friend, the Morgan clan. They're like big Ren Fair people, right?
Oh, okay.
So they take like the Morgan family camp, and they build this like circus camp type thing, and there's circus acts and like come out anytime you need to, for me to take 5 days away without working in
it's
some
a lot.
Level, it's hard for me to justify.
A lot, yeah.
But it
mostly that you're tied up in so many different. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just hard.
But I really want to go, man. I wanted to go this year.
Yeah. I want to go there. I want to go to EDC.
Everything got canceled because I have to wait till next year.
Yeah.
I know.
That it will
I used to know Pasquale Rotella. Because, he was married to Holly.
Right.
But I talked to him about doing a cool Alice in Wonderland, like this cool mural out there at EDC.
Was he down with it?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Nice.
Like this cool black light
fun.
mural.
Yeah, that'd be fitting too.
I'd
Perfect.
love to do that. So maybe, I don't know, Pasquale, if you're listening,
There you go. Please.
we'll do something this year.
Please reach out. So what is your favorite place? No, that question.
I got
sucked.
you know what?
Just throw the top 3. I'm okay with the top 3.
All right, I'll give you the top 5 because
Okay. I'm
top
okay
3
with
is
five.
too
Yeah,
hard.
it's
you know?
hard. It is. I understand that.
One of my, the most beautiful place I've ever seen is it's a cross. I mean, this only counts as one. Cross between Saint Lucia and Saint John in the Caribbean.
Okay.
The most. It's like a
So like the island kind of feeling.
yeah, man,
You know what I mean?
and like taking a speedboat across the bay.
I haven't done the Caribbeans, but I've done Hawaii, and
the
I
Caribbean.
love the feel down there.
Hawaii, Kualoa Ranch, which is where they filmed Jurassic Park. That valley, unreal. If you guys
Right.
get a chance, I can't wait to go back.
Right.
So I was,
I've been to Maui and Honolulu, and I enjoyed them very much.
Oh, they're great.
They're great.
I have a ton of galleries in
Right.
Hawaii. That I
Do
work
you
with.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
like,
something I'm definitely going to be checking out.
yeah, if they open
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
When they open again.
So how many
Let's hope.
galleries do you have all over?
There's a ton of galleries I work with. Yeah, there's one in Chicago.
Where?
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
Where?
It was in Schaumburg.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
by where we grew up.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up in
Well, no,
Arlington
you grew
Heights.
up in the
Okay,
suburbs.
My bad.
I am from Chicago.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, the real Chicago, the deep dish Chicago.
I grew
Yes.
up in Arlington Heights.
Well, we have that
which
pizza
is-
fight all the time.
Right.
Still.
Oh,
To
that's
this
great.
day.
She's
No,
a
I love.
Illuminati's girl. I'm a
Yeah,
different
Illuminati's
guy.
all
I
the
like
way.
Illuminati's.
I'm a big fan.
No.
But I'm not. See, here's the thing. I grew up in Chicago. I consider myself from Chicago.
See,
I've
I'm a
been there, so-
I'm a Giordano's guy.
See, I'm okay with Giordano's.
No,
I,
you don't
I,
like, look at her. She's.
I take Giordano's over Illuminati's too.
Nasty.
And here's the thing.
No, I
And Chicago people are gonna hate me for this.
Yeah.
I don't like deep dish.
It's a lot.
No.
It is
I
You're
a
New
lot.
love
York-
my New York style much better than deep dish.
Yeah. Have you been in New York in Little Italy? There is a
I have actually.
Okay, so Mulberry Street, right off of Mulberry Street, there's this great place called Margarita that is got like this brie and honey
Okay.
pizza. It's unreal. It's unlike anything I've ever heard. I think we're somebody's sawing in. They think we're a jewelry store,
somebody's
and they're
actually
trying to
sewing
It's the
something.
neighbors.
Cut-
I don't know
nice.
what kind of painting or TV they're trying to put up. But
They're trying
they've
to
been
cut a
for
hole in the
couple days
wall.
now.
They heard we have an artist, so they're putting up paintings all over.
I should have brought my bodyguard with me to protect me from being
Yeah.
kidnapped. If they could throw me over their
They're
shoulder.
gonna come through the wall.
I'm like, I'm just
Yes.
looking around, like, what the hell is going on?
It's right here. I don't know. They've been
But-
doing it for like.
So I love New York in general.
Okay.
So I'm
So, are you more like a city guy or more of an island guy?
dude,
have
I'm
you
a-
been to Ibiza?
I've never been to Ibiza.
Dude, you gotta
That's
try
another
Dude,
Ibiza.
I
one we
want to
gotta
go.
do, yeah.
Gotta
I
try
want to go
Ibiza.
to. I want to go to the Seychelles.
Okay.
That's
yes.
like my number.
Yes.
I was gonna go this
I've
year.
Been there. I've
Have
been
you?
there.
Is
Yes.
it is
Oh,
it
it's
as
it is.
unreal as
Absolutely.
it seems?
Yep.
Because some of those places they look so
That is
beautiful.
actually top 3 for me, big time.
Is it?
It is. That was good. The Seychelles is one of the greatest place you can ever.
It looks
see.
like Neverland, right? With
Absolutely.
those crazy rocks.
And it's all real.
Yeah.
You've been to Dubai. I've lived in Dubai.
Where did you live in Dubai?
Al Qusais.
We lived in Al Qusais. We lived in by Burj Khalifa for a little bit. So we
Okay.
lived all over Dubai.
Yeah.
We lived there for 2-3 years. 2-3 years, I believe.
Okay.
And how did you? Okay, so here's my experience with that. It felt like I was being in Vegas for way too long.
That's kind of what Dubai feels like.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
though? You got obviously where you guys
Yeah.
are. You got to get out a little bit.
We have,
So-
and this is the thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a desert, and
Yeah.
I get it. It looks super nice on TV, and I'm not giving them crap. It is
my
a great
God, is
city,
it
but the problem
Yeah.
is, forget the hotness for a second. When you do something once, you're not gonna go back and do it again. When you go skiing inside the mall,
Right.
You're gonna take some pictures.
I've been
Okay,
3 times.
Cool.
That thing.
Have you? See, I did it once, and I was done.
Did you meet the penguins and stuff?
I did.
That was cool.
I did. I did the whole Formula One fucking racetrack
Did
in
you?
Abu Dhabi. That was a lot of fun.
Did you go to the is it a Ferrari park?
It's a Ferrari park.
Did,
yeah,
is that?
yeah.
Did you go on that coaster?
Yeah.
Was it
No,
awesome?
they're not coaster. Do you actually drive a mini Ferrari?
No,
cars
no,
of that?
but there's a
You're talking about the roller coaster on the. Okay, yeah.
It's like the
no,
fastest roller coaster in the world,
yes,
right?
Yes. I've done that as well.
and you got to wear the goggles because the bug will put out your eye.
And again, that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Because everything is, forget the money side of it, that it's super expensive, whatever. It's just when you do it the one time and you take pictures, that's it. It just becomes one other fake thing that
Yeah.
you took off your bucket list.
Yeah.
We went to the Atlantic Hotel, which was built under the sea. It was
Yeah,
a
we
very
we
cool
went on that little
vibe.
boat.
Oh,
and-
that's crazy.
Yeah, like
go,
we
like,
got the
under the
whole
building.
aquarium,
Yep,
like
yep.
all around.
So wait
the
a second.
hotel.
So there's a glass, so you can go.
It's
you're,
glass.
You're under the actual ocean.
Yeah, you are. It's
the
like a
hotel
tunnel
is like,
thing.
So, yeah, exactly.
It's like a tunnel system that they build, and then it's encased in glass, and you're in like these little boats, and so you go through there.
So
and
they
you
have
can see
this
the
tunnel
ocean.
thing where you go in, and it's just like a whole aquarium all around you.
Yeah, it's just
That's
the open ocean.
crazy.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
they had they tried to talk me into buying one.
They?
One of those condos that are like the floating condos.
Oh, okay.
Where the living room, you go downstairs. And it's like these floating houses.
Yeah.
And I could have bought one for $1 million.
Are you talking about the islands? So
Those
let me
little
explain
man-made
to you what was so you're talking about.
I know about the man-made islands. It's
Yes.
in the shape of like the United States,
those are
the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I wasn't going to buy an island.
Okay.
This is just it was like a floating house.
Okay.
That was it was like this little community, and
Okay.
the homes were floating.
Okay.
And I could have bought it for like $1 million and rented it out.
And it would have made some money.
And it would have made
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and then like I'm like, I don't want it.
I'd be careful investing into Dubai
Especially
right
with
now,
that
just
stuff, yeah.
because this is very. They're going into a very important part, like kind of like part of their lives, because right now they're running out of oil.
They've
I know.
been for a while.
That's why they've been pushing tourism.
They've been pushing tourism.
Yeah.
They got a lot of investment right in on it. But is that gonna last?
Well, I got some friends that worked at Motion Gate,
Okay.
which is a really great park.
Right.
They just built like this big, like a DreamWorks land, and they got this incredible like How to Train Your Dragon ride.
Right.
I'm a big theme park guy.
Okay, yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon ride, and it's like this Peter Pan ride, but you go like through the whole area with the dragon and Littlefoot and all that stuff. And I don't know how the hell they're going to sustain it. I mean, even though you've got royal money behind it, to try to get tourists there is really tricky.
Yep.
Do you hear about they're trying to bring an iceberg down? They're like floating an iceberg into the Bay of Dubai to try to
heard about
to
that,
cool
yeah.
off
But
the
then-
climate.
Yeah, exactly. That's not gonna work. I mean, I bet there's some science behind it, but how much money are they gonna spend doing
Oh, I think
that?
they spent like $20 million or something. Or,
That's it?
I think it was not.
Oh, that's not-
I
that's
was
some
shocked
shame
at the
for them.
amount.
That
Well,
is
they're
nothing.
literally like. It's up in Alaska,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
throwing like
crazy.
a rope around the bottom of
And
it.
they're just dragging it all
Yeah,
the
it's
way.
like an
just gonna have
iceberg
a
rodeo.
That's
$20 million.
hilarious.
That's gonna be interesting.
And they're bringing it into, and they're gonna like make like you're gonna be able to ski on this massive iceberg. They're planning. I think they're planning on losing like 8% of it a year or something like that. But that's how big it is.
Wow.
Those people don't give a crap.
I
about
know,
money.
man.
Money,
There's-
They don't.
They-
They really
they
don't.
burn
They
it.
have so
They don't
much
care
of it.
about
They
it.
don't know
Yeah.
what to do with it.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like I said, they're coming to a time where now everything's going to get tested, because when you run out of oil,
Yeah.
the money is going to stop coming in. So now it's going to be time for the investments to start paying you for whatever money.
Well,
you
and
put-
more, especially I've got a Tesla.
Right.
So
That's a great investment, by the way. A lot of people are giving it a lot of hate. I
you
love
mean Tesla stock is a great investment? I don't know about the car. I mean, the car's
You don't
not
like
gonna.
the cars?
I love the car. It's my favorite car I've ever had.
Okay.
I've got a Tesla, and then I've got just a regular combustion engine car.
Okay. Did you like the new Cybertrucks?
The way it looks. Looks like a Tonka truck.
I love it.
I love
like those cars
I
you were
love
playing with
Elon,
when-
man, but it looks like one of those origami trucks I would have made as a kid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's all of us.
It's
we
so
had.
weird. I don't know if I love it or hate it.
I love it. That's
I think
always the
it's
car
either
that we
or,
grew up playing
usually.
with.
Yeah.
Remember
Either
those
you
little
love it or you
cars from the
hate it.
90s or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what they looked like. And this guy took it and he made it into a car.
that-
It's like the car you were playing with all your childhood. Boom, there you go.
He's an amazing guy,
Oh, God,
man,
he is.
Elon.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a huge fan
Big
too, and I
fan.
mean, here's the guy that took us back into space,
Right.
And it was he did it out of private money,
Right.
And it was cooler costumes, outfits, cooler uniforms,
Cooler everything.
cooler everything. I
Yeah.
mean, the he's got excellent taste, and I
Done
love.
so much.
I've got a Model S, and like, dude, I love that car,
Right,
man.
man.
A buddy of mine had a Model 3,
Right.
and I drove it. He's down in Florida, and so I drove it. I've been thinking, I don't really want it, because I had a Porsche,
Right.
and Porsche is a cool status symbol.
Right.
When you're 42, you start to like, you don't need you know what I mean. I'm not trying to
Right,
really impress
right,
anybody. I just
right.
want a fun car. So I had a Porsche, and I'm like, maybe I'll think about selling it. And then I had another Lexus sedan that I really loved. It was a great car. And then I drove his Tesla, man, and
Yeah,
I was
that's amazing.
hooked.
Yeah.
So and then I saw the Model 3. I'm like, that's a little small
The Model
for me.
3, that's the one that dances or whatever with the doors?
No, that's an X.
That's the X. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many models now. I'm just
The
losing
one with
count.
the weird doors is like a little bigger, I feel like.
Yeah, it's more like a minivan looking.
Okay.
Yeah, kind
My
of.
brother's got that. So
Okay.
my brother Peter has a Model X. And but then I saw the S and the way that the front of it is shaped.
It's just ridiculous.
It's like a shark.
Is it?
It's like I've got like a black shark.
It's amazing.
Driving around, and the way that
It's
And
fun.
plus, you get to drive it down on
speeds up.
PCH
That's
and stuff,
great, man.
right? You live.
I haven't even gotten a ticket in it yet. Don't tell any cop.
Right there, you go.
I have not gotten a single ticket in that car.
I'm not gonna lie. I got a Camaro for myself, and I haven't gotten the ticket here as well.
That's impressive. Yeah, but what color is it?
A
It's
white
white.
one.
Okay. If it was a red, man, you absolutely would have gotten
It's
it.
weird because we got a Prius and we got a Camaro.
Okay.
So we could do the whole hybrid thing.
You can
and
get
we
to
could-
Vegas without having to stop for gas.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Or you can stop 3 times.
Exactly.
That car,
we did
it's so quiet. The first time
Oh,
I
yeah.
turned
The
it on,
Prius?
I called
Yeah,
him,
they're
Yeah.
and I was
so
like,
quiet.
"Did I turn it on? I don't know. How does this on? I
What?
can't tell.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you throw it into reverse,
I
right?
literally couldn't.
You
tell.
can't hear
It's-
anything.
It's
Yeah.
so
You
See, with
can't hear
the
anything.
Tesla, I thought there was something wrong with it the first time that I adjusted, because it's got like a James Bond mode, right? Where you push the thing and I think it's a Thunderball mode or something
Right.
like that, where the whole thing lowers,
Right.
and it shows the James Bond like submarine car, so the whole thing lowers and it makes this weird sound,
Right.
and that's the only sound that you'll hear.
You'll hear, right?
Yeah.
Or you'll hear that weird electric whir of.
You can hear that in the Prius a little bit too.
I love it.
sometimes.
There's no
Sounds
gear
like
change.
a spaceship.
Yeah.
That's
Like
exactly, and it
smooth.
feels like a
Exactly what
spaceship.
it-
Yes,
yeah.
it
Well, you know, the
does.
Tesla's built like a skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just flat, and they actually had to put that center console in to fill up
Yes,
some space. 'Cause
yes.
there was so much space. in
FYI,
it.
these cars, they have power. Not just because they're hybrids.
Yeah.
They don't have power. My Prius, and I know your Tesla's going to have a lot more power
Yeah, but
than my Prius.
Toyota in general, man, is
Right.
like one of the greatest cars that's ever been made.
I put in some good speed on it on the
Yeah.
highway. So
Yeah.
And you don't feel it.
No. you
Well,
don't.
so I think that Dubai's in big trouble with
is.
with the electric revolution.
Yep.
And as far as other favorite places, Venice feels like home.
Mm-hmm.
This first time I stepped onto those broken tiles in Venice, I stayed at the Hotel Daniele, and I was in love, man. I
believe it.
I was home, and that's what it felt like. So Paris, I know you love
Paris, yeah, there you go. Paris, Paris.
There's something special about Paris, but Paris is exhausting. To me.
Super exhausting
He's
and
gonna-
super dirty and
he's
super.
probably not gonna agree
no, I
with
don't.
me.
No, I do actually because here's the thing.
No, not about Paris, but
The whole
keep on.
attitude about Parisians as well is not the nicest ever. So you could go to South of France if you really want to see real France.
Yeah.
Go to South of France. Go to Nice. Go to other. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's where France.
wanna go to Monaco.
Yeah. Oh God.
So-
That you just feel like I haven't been to Monaco. I want to go really
Yeah.
bad. It just feels like James Bond.
I love it, man.
Like, man,
So I
just-
actually have a fun Monaco story.
Go for it.
So ever since she was a little girl, I knew this girl named Jasmine, and I've known her for many years.
Right.
So we're at this New Year's party together, and I see that there's like these guys that are in these SUVs, and they're clearly like packing, right? They're like body with the earpieces, and I'm like, what the fuck is here, right? And this was a very nice home in this very nice area in Orange County. And so I walk in and I say, hey, why are there guys like packing out front? What's going on? There's a big black, oh, it's just because of Jazzy. Why would Jazzy? And they said, you don't know? I said, no. They said, her dad's the Prince of Monaco. So I don't want to screw up the story, but basically her mother, who's from Southern California, went there on holiday. And the daughter is the Prince of the Monaco, and she's gorgeous. So she's a granddaughter of Grace.
How'd you deal with that?
I was gonna say Grace Kelly, right?
Grace Kelly was her grandmother, and she's
Yeah.
super gracious. I mean,
What's
she's,
with those Monaco men? They just like the
well,
California
they
girls.
basically said, he at first it was like not a thing he didn't really want to face, and they said, no, you're not going to do this. We're making sure that this is what it looks like, and I'm sure he's absolutely thrilled. She is just the picture
Humble?
of great. God, she's wonderful, and she's very caring, and
It's
like
nice when someone of that importance.
well,
and
she
that
didn't grow
much-
up like that.
I
She
get
didn't
it,
like
right.
grow in. She didn't grow up in Monaco. She's
Right.
not. She's like a
right
California.
here.
Now she's in New York, and she's a
you go.
California girl, and she was around normal life instead of growing up in that.
Nice
so she
to
doesn't
see.
have that screwed up.
That's actually nice.
But I want to go to Monaco. I've never been
You
there.
should. You really should. And we should do it together, by the way.
I
we
would.
should. Hey, man.
Absolutely,
I'm down.
man. You're going to buy me a $25 Coke?
I got you. I got you. We will make it happen. Okay, so we are going to do another footage in Patreon. So stay in touch for that or look out for that. Do you have anything you need to plug in? Anything you're working on? Anything coming up? What's going on?
I am appearing at a Comic-Con coming up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Doing what?
I am going to be doing signings.
Okay.
So that's in Jacksonville. That's Jacksonville Comic-Con. Take a look at it.
Hell
I think
yeah.
it is the third week of July, so just a couple weeks from now. I'm really looking forward to it.
This guy's really going at his wall today, but all right, cool.
And then I have, the next weekend, I'm going to be appearing again at my gallery in Vegas.
Okay, at the Venetian too?
At the Venetian Animazing Gallery.
Okay.
So if you could just go to Animazing Gallery or animazing.com, I believe, just like it sounds. I'll be plugging it on there. And find me on my Instagram and
Cool.
all that fun stuff. And I'm hoping that the travel ban lifts because I really want to go to the UK. And I've got... there's somebody that I really want to come here from
the UK.
The UK,
Someone dear.
Yeah,
Okay.
like really, I really would love for her to come here
All
as
right.
soon as possible.
We got to see the other side of James
We'll
today.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, man. Thank you very much for coming today.
My pleasure, man.
Please, we're gonna do another one in a minute. But to everybody who's watching us today, please go subscribe to his channel, to his Facebook, to his Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and YouTube channel.
I'll have an OnlyFans if COVID doesn't. end soon.
OnlyFans.
Oh no, you're gonna get
Nice.
hopefully a lot of fans.
Nice.
So you are a friend of the show. You are welcome at any time, my friend.
Love to be here, man.
Please, anytime you want to plug in something, please come in.
Stop,
great.
for sure.
All right, we're
All
good.
right, guys. You have a good weekend.
Cool.